to Masai's kitchen. Today we're making breakfast for dinner, and so grab your orange juice and your aprons and let's get started. So, as you can see in front of me, I've got pancake mix, well, at least flour for pancake mix, potatoes, bacon, and all my ingredients and stuff set up. This is a super simple pancake recipe. Nikki and I decided to kind of fancy it up a little bit, and we're making lemon poppy seed pancakes today. So, right in my bowl here, I have 2 cups of flour, I have 2 cups of buttermilk, 2 tablespoons of sugar, mixture of baking soda, baking powder, and salt. And of course, I got my bacon. So, what we're gonna do to start is we're gonna preheat our oven to 400 degrees for our bacon. While your oven's preheating, we're gonna get started on our pancake mix, okay? So you can just put your bacon away for right now. Don't worry about it, doesn't matter. And you're gonna grab your lemon, all right? So really good lemon, what you gotta do beforehand is roll it out, okay? So work out all that tension from I don't know what, but work out your tension. Make sure you don't squeeze it too hard because, you know, lemons do explode tragically. And grab your zester or grater and just grate out 2 tablespoons of lemon zest. Now, I have this fancy grater courtesy of our roommate today, but you really don't need this big fancy thing. Do not slip. You are zesting, you should have about 2 tablespoons. This is roughly 2 tablespoons. You take your 2 tablespoons of sugar, combine them out, like this. And then here's the funky thing. You rub them together until your sugar gets all aromatic. Why? I have no idea. Should be looking a little bit like this. And unfortunately, because this is video, you can't smell this, but I can, and it smells great. And then also, just a fun fact, you could probably use this for a DIY face mask or lotion bomb. I don't know. I'm not part of that. Ask Dominica. So once this is nice and incorporated, you are going to put it aside of baking soda, dump. And then that all goes in with your lemon zest sugar. See, simple enough, nothing crazy. I mean, all ingredients that you should have lying around at home. If not, wash gel in and gel out, as my friend says to the grocery store. So once you get this all incorporated, stir it up. Basically get some air going in that flour and sugar combination. And then it will be all ready for your liquid ingredients. All right, guys, so I put my stirred mixture aside and I'm getting ready to do my wet ingredients. So when you're baking especially, you wanna make sure your wet and your dry ingredients are separate, just so that way they all get fully incorporated and all the air gets into your dry mixture, and that way it gets really fluffy and really nice, well mixed together. So I'm gonna reuse, reduce, and recycle basically, and use my zester as a strainer for my lemon juice now. So that way, I've done this way too many times with baking recipes where I've gotten all the juice out of a lemon and then all the seeds. So I have roughly 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. I don't care about measuring, but you should in baking. So, and I have my buttermilk here. Fun fact, if you don't have buttermilk, but you have normal milk, you can just do a 1-to-1 ratio of lemon juice to milk. So what you do is you measure out the milk you need, put in a tablespoon of lemon juice for every cup of milk that you use. Let it sit for 5 to 10 minutes, and it'll curdle up and act as a buttermilk. So you don't have to go for an old expensive thing. Because these are buttermilk pancakes and it is a special occasion, we're day 16 of this. Episode 16. We figured we might as well be fancy and try to keep doing this. So go ahead and pour your lemon juice into your buttermilk. So once you get all your wet ingredients incorporated, take a fork, can be any fork, and whisk them together real nice. And if you're like me, you should probably plan on a bigger container than I did, because I'm fully predicting this is gonna overspill in about like 3 seconds. Yep, there we go. Oops, there we go again. Bring back your dry ingredients and slowly pour back in. Again, don't need a fancy mixer. I'm always the game for like just using your hands and a good old trusty fork. Mix slowly, try to incorporate all, not as like lumpy as you need it to. Like you don't need to get all the lumps out, but like you want to get as much of them as possible out. your arm will get tired. This is your arm workout for the weekend. Then you're gonna ruin your workout regardless with these delicious pancakes, but it's gonna be worth it. All right, from here, it's kind of strange. So you fully mix your batter, kind of looks nice and thick. Most lumps are out. You're gonna let it sit for 10 minutes, which I know is weird. And you're like, Amanda, I want pancakes now. And trust me, I do too, because these smell really good. So put this aside for 10 minutes. I heard the oven beep. I'm gonna prep our bacon. What we're gonna do is just take a little casual, what are these called? Tray, baking tray. And just lay your bacon single sheet on them. What you can do, if you want, is lay our parchment paper down and just place your bacon on top. It makes it for really easy cleanup later. What you do afterwards, take the parchment paper up, pour the grease off into like a jar. Bacon grease is so important, PSA. This stuff is so good on everything. So use it, save it, and I'll show you how to make potatoes with it later. So I'm gonna prep the bacon. We're gonna go into like a little break, and then we'll come right back to Miss I's kitchen. So just a PSA, guys, if you clean your kitchen and clean your dishes as you're baking, or when you're waiting for your oven to preheat, or waiting for batter to rise in this case, it saves you a lot of time later and gives you all the things you need to use later again. So during that break, I laid out our nice bacon, and it's gonna go in the oven for 20 minutes. And here's a good thing about bacon in the oven. You don't have to touch it. You don't have to risk burning yourself with the skillet one. And then, at least according to the one website I looked at, Google, this is the best way of making it because it reduces shrinkage. You still get the crispy exterior and the slightly the melty inside. And it's just, bacon is always good. And the more you can just leave it alone and just forget about it, I'm okay with that. So next I'm gonna be making potatoes. So my wonderful sous chef Nikki has diced me up some potatoes. Thank you, Nikki. And I'm going to show you the secret trick to Miss I's famous potatoes, all right? So I have a pot of cold water here. I'm gonna heavily salt this. This should be saltier than the salty sea, or what is it called?
Dead Sea.
Dead Sea. Dead Sea, so put a lot of salt in here. All right, then throw your potatoes in. Again, cold water, not pre-boiled. The funny thing about root vegetables, sorry, there's salt in my mouth now. It's very salty water, guys. We did good job. The funny thing about root vegetables, if you're ever boiling them, I should probably let off some of this water. You should boil them starting in cold water and then let the root vegetables boil with them. Why is that? You should Google it and let me know. Comment below. So I'm going to put this on high heat and let it bring to a boil. This is about to take about like 10 minutes or so. I'm waiting for the potatoes to get like fork tender. So not enough for me to like pick one out and like eat it and be happy about it. No, just right before that where I could stab a fork through it and it's like goes through, but it's not quite, it's disintegrating, okay? So while that's cooking, I'm just kind of waiting for my pancakes. It's been about 10 minutes. I'm gonna start heating up my skillet. So here I have I don't know what size this is, it doesn't matter. Just pick a non-stick skillet. Right, I'm gonna preheat my non-stick skillet. I got my pancake batter. You can kind of see here the bubbles are forming. That's a really good sign. Because that means that all the air that we were hoping that developed in that gluten has broken down again. And we're gonna get some really fluffy pancakes. And this is why you wash your hands, guys. Now, as much as I advocate for, poppy seeds. Throw your poppy seeds in. All right, so my skillet is pretty heated. Don't do that. So not this much. Take a pretty good chunk of butter. I'm not my sister, and will not do that to every one of my arteries. So put a little bit of butter down, let it melt, kind of spread it around. I recommend, again, doing this with a fork, not your fingers, but my fingers have long burned. That's what happens. wash your hands one more time. Because it's always good to wash your hands, especially nowadays. And this is why an apron is good. You never know when you don't have your towel convenient. So this recipe is really good about making either really tiny pancakes or really big pancakes. So if you want more pancakes, make them smaller. I think it's about like 24 small pancakes. That's about like 2 tablespoons a scoop. And then the bigger pancakes are about fourth of a cup. I don't measure, I pour. So if you do like about what you think is a 1/4 cup, put it in the middle of your hot pan and just wait. You don't do it now, it's gotta bubble. It's gotta bubble a long time, unfortunately. You gotta wait a long time for your pancake to be ready. It will let you know, I promise. Promise it'll let you know, but it ain't ready yet. Hey guys, welcome back from Orange Juice Break. I'm just gonna kind of review what we've been doing so far. So far I got pancakes in the oven, bacon in the oven. I got pancakes right here. Keep cooking. We're looking for this kind of color. I'm not gonna pick it up with my bare hand. I'm looking for that kind of color. This I just poured on, so it's not gonna be in. So just wait for this kind of color. Flip it over when it looks ready. But my potatoes are done, and the way you can tell that is I can poke a fork in. Fork goes clean through. But they're not quite tender enough for me to bite in and be like, that was a satisfying potato. No, not quite that far. So what's gonna happen, I'm gonna drain the water out. Be really careful because it is hot water. Give them a really good shake. Really wanna rough up the edges of the potatoes. So the fun fact about these potatoes is that you want them a little more rough. So, the reason for that is that we're gonna take the bacon out of the oven and we're gonna use that fat. See? We're gonna take that fat from the bacon. You can see my bacon is really nice and crispy. That's the way I like it. If you don't like it this crispy, I'm sorry for my vegetarian friends. I promise you I got humane pork. If you don't like your bacon that crispy, just take them out a little sooner. You can tell there's not much shrinkage in here, but we still got a lot of that really good bacon fat that we want. So what's gonna happen next, and I'm not gonna bore you all with my rambling still, is that I'm going to take some of this bacon fat, I'm gonna pour it in with my potatoes, and then I'm gonna take the bacon off, just plate them on paper towel, get some of that like fat off, and then preheat my oven to 450 degrees, put my potatoes back on here, throw them in the oven, about 20 minutes, flip them, 20 minutes more, and you got fantastic crispy potatoes. And for my vegetarian friends, if you don't want to use bacon fat, olive oil, canola oil, vegetable oil, all that works with these potatoes as well to make them vegetarian. All right, cool. So we're back for another Orange Juice Break. And here you go, guys. One breakfast for dinner from the Size Kitchen. Lemon poppy seed pancakes, bacon, crispy potatoes, add a little bit of garnish with the oranges. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time.